Have you ever wondered what would happen to our planet if humans simply ceased to exist? It's a question that has captivated thinkers for centuries. But now, thanks to the incredible power of artificial intelligence, we no longer have to just imagine. AI has been harnessed to create stunning, hyper-realistic visualizations that offer a glimpse into a haunting yet utterly fascinating future of Earth without a human presence, revealing a world where nature reclaims its dominion with breathtaking speed and force. These AI-generated simulations present a detailed timeline grounded in scientific principles, showing us the slow, inevitable decay of our civilization and the glorious rebirth of the wild. According to these advanced models, the very first few years after humanity's sudden and complete disappearance would be marked by an almost deafening silence, a profound quietude punctuated only by the sounds of nature and the slow grinding decay of our creations. The once thriving metropolises, the epicenters of human activity, would begin to crumble almost immediately. Without constant maintenance, the towering skyscrapers that define our modern skylines would weaken, their glass windows shattering and their steel skeletons groaning under the relentless assault of the elements. Nature, no longer held at bay by human intervention, would swiftly and aggressively begin to reclaim these urban landscapes. It would be a slow but unstoppable invasion. Tenacious vines, like green tendrils, would crawl their way up the sides of skyscrapers, enveloping them in a shroud of foliage. The powerful roots of trees would patiently but forcefully break through the asphalt of our roads and the concrete of our pavements, creating intricate mosaics of destruction and new life. In a scene straight out of a post-apocalyptic film, wildlife, once pushed to the fringes of our world, would begin to move back into the now empty, once bustling city centers. Deer might be seen grazing in what was once Times Square, and packs of coyotes could be heard howling down the abandoned boulevards of Los Angeles. The initial phase would be a poignant testament to the fragility of our built world when left to its own devices, a world slowly being erased and rewritten by the patient, persistent hand of nature. The AI visuals depict this era with stark clarity, showing us a world returning to a more primal state, where the echoes of human life fade with each passing season, replaced by the rustle of leaves and the calls of wild animals. Within a mere 20 years, the complex infrastructure that powers our world would experience catastrophic failures. The intricate network of power plants, meticulously managed by human hands, would shut down one by one, plunging the planet into a profound and lasting darkness. Massive hydroelectric dams, no longer maintained, would eventually breach, unleashing immense volumes of water and flooding low-lying coastal cities like New Orleans, Amsterdam, and vast parts of Bangladesh, transforming them into permanent, sprawling wetlands and extensions of the sea. Yet this decay would have a remarkable silver lining. With the abrupt cessation of all human industrial activity, the constant spewing of pollutants into our atmosphere and waterways would halt. Carbon emissions would plummet drastically, allowing the planet's climate to begin a slow and arduous process of stabilization. The AI visual models project a world where the air and rivers, choked for centuries by our waste, would start to clear. The smog-filled skies would regain their brilliant blue, and the murky waters of our rivers would run clean once more. This period would witness a dramatic rewilding of the planet. The vast, monoculture farmlands that feed our global population would be overrun by nature. Forests would expand their borders, swallowing fields of corn and wheat, re-establishing diverse ecosystems in their place. Even the most arid deserts, according to these simulations, could begin to green as natural climate patterns reassert themselves without the influence of human-induced desertification. In the oceans, a similar story of recovery would unfold. Without the pressures of overfishing, pollution, and shipping traffic, marine life would thrive again. Great whales would reclaim their ancient migration routes, and coral reefs, bleached and dying in our era, would slowly begin to recover their vibrant colors. Species teetering on the brink of extinction, such as majestic tigers and gentle elephants, might see their populations rebound, spreading across their former territories. At the same time, invasive species, introduced by humans to foreign lands, would adapt and find new niches within these rapidly changing ecosystems, leading to a novel and unpredictable ecological landscape. The AI renderings of this phase are particularly powerful, showcasing a planet healing its wounds, a world where the balance of nature, so long disrupted, begins to restore itself with an almost miraculous resilience. Fast forward a few centuries, and the world would be almost unrecognizable to a modern human observer. By this point, most of the more obvious traces of our civilization would have been weathered away into obscurity. The intricate networks of roads and bridges that once connected our world would be little more than faint scars on the landscape, buried under layers of soil and vegetation. One of our most enduring legacies, plastic, would still persist. But even these synthetic polymers would eventually break down into microplastics, becoming another layer in the geological record. The iconic skyscrapers that once defined our ambition and ingenuity would have long since collapsed, their steel frames having rusted into fine red dust and their concrete foundations pulverized by the relentless cycle of freeze and thaw. Even our presence in space would not be permanent. The thousands of satellites orbiting Earth, our silent sentinels in the sky, would gradually lose their orbits due to atmospheric drag falling back to Earth and burning up as brilliant fleeting shooting stars in a spectacle unseen by any human eye. The AI predictions delve even deeper, showing how our greatest and most enduring symbols, monuments built to last for millennia, would eventually succumb to the inexorable march of time. The Statue of Liberty, a beacon of freedom, would corrode and crumble, its copper skin turning to dust, its torch eventually falling into the waters of the reclaimed New York Harbor. Even the Great Pyramids of Giza, which have stood for over 4,500 years, would not be immune. They would erode under the constant force of wind and sand, their sharp angles softening, their majestic forms slowly being swallowed by the encroaching desert and vegetation, until they become just another set of curious hills in the landscape. Experts who have analyzed these AI-generated scenarios emphasize that they are far from mere fantasy or artistic imagination. These visualizations are deeply grounded in established principles of ecological science, physics, and engineering. They are a visual representation of what researchers term the rewilding effect, the natural process of ecological succession and healing that occurs when intense human pressure is removed from an environment. The profound reason these AI simulations are so captivating, so simultaneously beautiful and terrifying, is because they confront us with a stark and uncomfortable truth. The planet Earth does not need humans to survive and thrive. In fact, it might thrive even more without us. It is we, humans, who desperately need the planet for our own survival. Ultimately, these powerful AI visualizations serve as both a profound warning and an essential lesson for our time. They are a mirror reflecting the immense impact, both constructive and destructive, that our species has had on this world. They vividly reveal the incredible, almost indomitable resilience of nature, its capacity to heal and regenerate even from the deepest wounds we have inflicted upon it. They also underscore the profound fragility of our own civilization, showing how quickly the complex systems we depend on would unravel without our constant vigilance and effort. The simulations force us to confront the reality that the long-term future of Earth and our place within it depends entirely on the choices we make today, not tomorrow. The haunting beauty of a post-human Earth, as rendered by AI, is not a predetermined fate or a prophecy we must accept. Instead, it is a powerful vision of a possible future, a future we have the power to avoid by making a collective, conscious choice for sustainability, for balance, and for a more harmonious coexistence with the natural world. It is a call to action, reminding us that we are not just inhabitants of this planet, but its stewards, and the legacy we leave behind will be written in the very fabric of the Earth itself.